Hello, VAC fans. You're looking at the floating rug plate, I guess if you want to call it that, of a Dyson DC14. And I wanted to address an issue, or maybe I should call it a concern, that I have with some of the people on YouTube replacing parts that, in my view, are unnecessary. Specifically, this part right here. This little connecting tube to this floating head, emphasis on the floating. See how easily mine goes back and forth? I mean, it requires almost no real pressure at all. So a lot of people have seen videos using my DC14 and gone, well, this isn't working right because the metal coils in here aren't tight enough to act like a spring to literally, so I get a better angle, force the rear of the rug plate forward. Now this action in here, you can look up on Wikipedia, G-I-M-B-A-L, or gimbal, but you could just call it self-leveling. Let's take a closer look at this for a minute. Got a wheel here, second wheel, third, fourth, fifth. If I go and adjust the camera, see right here, see down this plane, right down that way, see how that's nice and flat? So if you have proper pressure from the vacuum itself, especially while it's on, the floating head actually is supposed to adjust right to a horizontal carpet surface. I mean, whether it be something that's got a pile to it or whether it's something that's flat, like say concrete or linoleum. But it's supposed to have even pressure on all these wheels in order to be effective. I certainly wouldn't want something putting a couple of pounds of force jamming this up this way, or anything jamming this down and making it then dig into the carpet, making it more difficult to push. Anyway, enough of my blabbing. Let me show you what I mean. All right, now since I have the machine on the carpet, I want to show you the effect of the gimbaling or the floating head. Now ideally, see this plane right here? This is supposed to be flat, right? And it's supposed to stay flat. Now I don't have the machine on right now, so it's not going to be a perfect test, but I want to show you what it's like off, and then I'll turn the machine on. So if I recline the handle here, watch how this stays parallel, or actually isn't quite perfectly parallel. I'm going to move the handle back and forth like I'm vacuuming. Okay, see this right here? See how the rear actually comes up a little bit? But I just tapped it and it went down. If I had a little better grease on this, it would probably go down essentially by itself. Now imagine if the spring effect right here was tremendous, say several pounds of force, right? Just imagine what that would be like, trying to push with the rear of that machine jamming down into the carpet. And I'll do a transition here in a minute. But take a look at this, right? This is pretty close to being level. Okay, and notice the machine's actually off. And that's almost perfect. Let me turn the machine on. It's going to get loud for a second. Okay, so did you see how the floating head stayed literally perfectly horizontal with the machine on? So no additional force do you really want in the front, because that would jam it down into the carpet and make it difficult to push. And certainly you don't want it popping a wheelie with several pounds of force jamming the rear down. So let me also show you a transition so maybe you can see something in a little bit different angle. Okay, here we go now at a carpet transition. We have medium pile carpet, and we have bare floor. So when we approach a transition, here we go. Let's put the pivot pretty much right at the point of the transition. With the machine off, let's take a look at what that does. See how that floating head begins to hit the correct angle as it's going off the carpet? Now imagine if you had extra spring pressure and it was doing this. Look what happens, right? I mean, obviously, it's going to miss a little bit. Now, I have the machine off, and the effect will be greater with the machine on, but do you see how well this tracks? Here, watch that. See that? That's not perfect, but remember, the machine's off. Now let me turn it on, and watch this head float from a higher surface to a lower surface. So I hope you're able to see that the ability to this remain for this to remain rather parallel to the surface that it's going to vacuum at, what you're going to point it at, does a wonderful job here, and then it kind of comes down at an angle as it should, and then immediately goes completely flat right here, and then it comes back up right on top of the carpet. So it does a great job. And again, I'm not talking about something where this is damaged or it has a hole in it, but the fact that this is, I don't know, you say worn in or well worn, this is actually what I personally want. Maybe you want something different, but I just wanted to kind of clear that up. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I have a baking soda in the carpet test coming up. So until next time, happy vacuuming.